Good evening, all. I am Aditi Lamba with the Wednesday night edition of South Asian News, Vision of Asia. We are coming to you from our studio in New York City. Welcome to the show. Let's start with the biggest news of today. President Joe Biden has been sworn in as the 46th President of the United States, along with Vice President Kamala Harris, making history as the first woman of color Vice President of South Asian and African American descent. President Joe Biden addressed the nation today saying that he vows to end the uncivil war in a deeply divided country, reeling from a battered economy and a raging coronavirus pandemic that has now killed more than 400,000 Americans. With the U.S. Capitol encircled by thousands of armed troops 2 weeks after a mob laid siege to it, President Biden took the oath of office administered by U.S. Chief of Justice John Roberts and became the oldest U.S. president in history at age 78. He promised to restore the soul of America with unity and said that he will be the president for all Americans. President Biden takes office at a time of deep national unease, with country facing compounding crises, the coronavirus pandemic, the economic downturn, climate change, and racial inequality. So, the new elected president has promised immediate action with a raft of executive orders, including a national mask mandate on federal property, along with others. He tweeted today that he is heading to get right to work, delivering bold action and immediate relief for American families. Meanwhile, in the coronavirus pandemic, the nation has surpassed a grim milestone of 400,000 deaths with more than 24.3 million cases. Globally, we are looking at more than 96.2 million cases with at least 2 million deaths. Health officials are calling for vaccination to be ramped up and are urging Americans to stay vigilant and follow CDC guidelines of mask wearing, social distancing, and washing your hands. It is our biggest weapon against the coronavirus until most of the nation is vaccinated. So where are we headed now with the coronavirus, healthcare, and economic ramifications, and the importance of speeding up the vaccine program? We feature tonight doctors, executive directors, and celebrities including Lilly Singh. Here are the headlines. Dr. Tushar Patel on surging coronavirus cases and vaccine rollout, New Jersey. Lilly Singh returns back with A Little Late with Lilly Singh Season 2. SALDEF presents SikhLead Youth Internship Program featuring Executive Director Kiran Kaur Gill. A lot more on the other side of the break. Stay with us in Vision of Asia, voice of the community. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I am Aditi Lamba and this is Vision of Asia, Wednesday night episode of South Asian News. Let's now take a look at the coronavirus pandemic measures and updates. The nation has surpassed 400,000 deaths as cases continue to surge all across the states, even with the arrival of COVID-19 vaccines. Record number of deaths, cases, and hospitalizations are being seen all across. Yesterday saw more than 250,000 new COVID-19 cases, along with more than 123,000 hospitalizations, and the country has averaged almost 3,000 deaths a day over the past week. Since March 1st, 2020, about 4 Americans have died every 5 minutes from COVID-19. Healthcare officials are asking for more vaccine as the rollout continues to be slow. More than 13.5 million people have received at least the first dose of COVID-19 vaccine, and about 2 million of those have received a second dose. State and local officials worry that the supply will not be enough to continue the momentum. Even cities such as New York City are seeing a supply of vaccines being exhausted, with Mayor Bill de Blasio saying that they will run out of vaccines tomorrow at this rate. On the variant of the new virus, which was found in the UK, experts are warning that it is more transmissible, but not necessarily as deadly. They're also stating that the vaccine should work against this new variant. Discussing this and much more, we have now our discussion with health expert Dr. Tushar Patel. Here is Dr. Patel. There was a news with many experts saying that the second dose should be used as first dose for others instead of waiting for it, instead of holding it for the second dose for the other patients. How are you looking at this? Should second dose be given to others that still haven't been vaccinated, or should it be saved for the ones that have already gotten the first inoculation?
So we should stay with the approval criteria. So this vaccine is only give 94% or 95% effective if you receive the two-dose vaccine in 3 weeks or 4 weeks time frame, depending on what vaccine do you take. If you only take one vaccine now and don't take the second dose if you delay the second dose, it may not be fully effective. So I think the government has to decide. They need to ramp up the production. They need to have more vaccines produced by these companies and distributed to the state as quickly as possible, because by giving one dose, we're only giving half of the safety and efficacy we required.
In order to, President-elect Joe Biden on his agenda has said that he will vaccinate 100 million people in his first 100 days. My question is, do you think it's possible at the speed that you're seeing the vaccination process right now?
So with the national planning, with the national strategic planning of vaccine distribution, vaccine inoculation, it can be done. And one thing I would like to add is vaccination is the only acceptable path to herd immunity, and we cannot drop the ball now. $23 billion for the Operation Warp Speed happen. We need to do whatever it takes. We need to have the arenas, the expo centers, the stadiums, the community centers, drive-in vaccination centers open. Local pharmacies needs to be given the vaccination access so they can vaccinate their own community. Those are the steps I think Biden administration is looking to get that 100 million doses in 100 days. So if that plans work, then we will be in good shape.
You know, the healthcare system right now is so overwhelmed, Dr. Patel. With this new incoming administration, what are your expectations when you're looking at this healthcare crisis?
I think they need to have some national guidance to the states. They need to relax some criteria for getting the vaccine. Which pharmacy, which hospital, which healthcare institutions get the vaccine doses. I think they need to relax those. They need to distribute whoever can provide the vaccination, because as you know, there are a lot of healthcare professionals in the hospital setting. They are still struggling with the pandemic. They are still struggling with the daily issues with the cases. You cannot rely on those individuals to vaccinate people on a larger scale. So that is the whole reason we need to expand this vaccination program to other areas, pharmacy, the community centers, and get all the hands on deck. Whoever is available in the healthcare should go and vaccinate these individuals.
More vaccine questions coming here, Dr. Patel. What is your take on the immunity from these vaccines? Are we about 95% immune if that's the efficacy of these vaccines?
Yes. So let's say if someone received both doses, the chances for that individual to get 95% immune within 7 to 30 days is very good. So in my opinion, if you get 2 vaccines, the time frame provided, your chances of getting immune within that 7 to 30 days up to the second dose.
What are the chances of contracting coronavirus after the vaccine?
So the low viral load still remains in some individuals. It's not proven yet. It's not enough studies done. But I would highly recommend those individuals who took the vaccine don't come into the false sense of security that they are safe and not spreading the virus to others. So they still need to be following the public health guidance, avoid the crowded places, and wearing the mask.
Well, if somebody has already contracted coronavirus, Dr. Patel, and it has recovered from that, they must have some immunity in their system, as has been told by you before and many other doctors. Should they be getting this vaccine? How are you looking at that?
They should be getting the vaccine because we don't know the immune response from the infection itself, how effective is that, and that study still needs to be done. So I highly recommend those individuals who were positive, recovered from the infection, should take the vaccine as soon as their turn comes in.
And what happens if 70 to 80% actually gets vaccinated?
So after 70 to 80% of the vaccination happens in this country, what happens? The virus replication start stop. It doesn't get anymore. So let's say if somebody gets the infection today, that individual can give the infection to someone else, but that someone else cannot give the vaccine because the other individuals already get immunity from the vaccination itself. So this is like breaking the chain of infection. So once you have enough people vaccinated in this country, about 70-80%, you cannot have that chain going on, which is going on right now, which is only 5% of people got the vaccine.
How are you looking at the tri-state, Dr. Patel? We were the epicenter last year. Around this time is when it all started. Actually, before that, should we be worried?
So right now, in my opinion, the darkest days are ahead of us. Next 2 months is going to be a very, very challenging for our tri-state area. Vaccination is not a silver bullet. Everybody needs to get the vaccine before they start getting that safety. So right now, we all have to be careful what we do, our behavior, our daily practices, wearing masks, avoiding the crowded places. All those things still apply right now. And if we can do that as a team, if we become a team of our community, then definitely we can have the good days coming in April and spring onwards.
Let's now take a look at SALDEF, Sikh American Legal Defense and Education Fund that provides resources and representation for the Sikh American voice. SALDEF envisions a country where Sikh Americans are respected, recognized, and are appreciated for the shared values of service, social justice, freedom, and equality. Recently, SALDEF has opened applications for a SikhLead program, reaching out to the Sikh American youth across the nation. The SikhLead program of SALDEF inspires, trains, and supports a diverse, motivated, and entrepreneurial group of young Sikh Americans as they prepare for community engagement and leadership. Through this program, students are empowered to be effective leaders committed to exploring and realizing their personal potential in public service and also that of the Sikh American community at large. There are 2 programs in SikhLead this year that the Sikh American high school students and college students can apply to, with deadlines for application on February 1st and February 15th. You can visit saldef.org/SikhLead for more information. We spoke with Executive Director of SALDEF, Kiran Gill, bringing much insight into SikhLead. Here is our conversation with Kiran. Today, President Biden was sworn in, and he's now the 46th president of this country. Your comments on it, and how does SALDEF hope to work with the new administration?
Well, first of all, I'm really excited. It was wonderful to see how diverse his inaugural event is, his cabinet is, and his administration will be. We're really looking forward to working with President Biden and Vice President Harris. There's a number of initiatives that SALDEF certainly supports around immigration, hate crimes. I mean, their push towards social justice, I think, is incredible, and we're really looking forward to working with this administration.
What are your hopes for the first 100 days?
For the first 100 days, I think we are hoping really that they'll look at a lot of the policies that have been enacted over the last 4 years around, for example, immigration, issues around social and racial justice, and really looking at how we can make this country more inclusive. So SALDEF is, for example, I know the Biden administration, I believe later today, is repealing the Muslim ban.
Right.
They're going to be reinstating DACA and looking at comprehensive immigration reform. I mean, those are the types of things that SALDEF supports, things that, again, make this country more inclusive and unified, which is really the message that I think came through loud and clear today.
Great. So let's talk a little bit more about the program. There are 2 types of program, a leadership development program and an internship program. And the deadlines are February 1st and February 15th, respectively. Talk to me a little bit about how different these programs are and who should be applying to these programs, Kiran.
Sure, absolutely. So for the DC program, for the leadership development program, that's going to be launched in the fall. The internship program, the SikhLead internship program, is going to be launched over the summer. It's a summer internship program. And as you mentioned, we have the DC program and the regional program. So the DC program is open to college students or above. And those placements are typically in federal agencies or on Capitol Hill itself in congressional offices. Again, an excellent opportunity to really learn about the legislative process and how government works. The regional program is similar. It's open to high school students and above, 15 and up. And it's similar in the sense that the placements are also in government offices, but those would be state and local. And it's an opportunity to really understand how state and local government works. And in some ways, especially if those individuals are constituents and living in those regions, which they are, to really continue to be involved in state and local government beyond that, whether it be, in advocacy work or even, as we've seen in many of the former Sikh leaders to get involved in appointed or elected positions locally.
Right. What kind of local leaders are the ones that SALDEF has featured so far in SikhLead? Who do they truly connect with in terms of the person that's going to be giving them information?
So who do they connect with in terms of in the SikhLead program?
Yeah.
So the way we run it, they have the internship program itself. So they're interning in an actual congressional or legislative office. But we also have the program where they're able to connect with other Sikh students in their cohort. We have them mentors assigned to each individual, based on their interest. So they have somebody to go to, so they understand how to, interact in this professional environment. If they have questions, if they need career advice. We also have a speakership series. So we bring speakers from around the country, nationally recognized speakers, and these students have an opportunity to discuss with them their experiences in the public sphere. Primarily they're individuals that have public sector experience. So they're able to ask those questions and, understand, what some of the challenges are, what motivated individuals to be in the positions they are in now. So it's an incredible opportunity for them to really learn, grow, and have this incredible support system as they do it.
Right. I've heard before too with SikhLead, they get to meet a lot of leaders, political leaders, as well as officials. Who are some of the key political leaders or officials that you have featured so far in SikhLead?
Sure. Yeah. So we've had senators, for example. We've had discussions with Senator Menendez, Senator Booker, as you know, New Jersey. We've had at the local level, we've had assemblymen, state assemblymen. We've had, for example, we had Kamal Kalsi, who was the first Sikh, turban Sikh in the U.S. Army, speak to them about his experience. We've had the director of ACLU talk about their experience and their challenges. So again, it's been every year it's slightly different, but they really get to hear from people that are in the thick of, policy work and legislative work in this country.
And it's time for the short break on Vision of Asia, Voice of the Community. We'll be right back. And welcome again. I am Aditi Lama, and this is Vision of Asia South Asian News segment. We have now a special segment featuring renowned South Asian social media sensation Lilly Singh. Her show, A Little Late with Lilly Singh, is back with season 2, with Lilly Singh bringing her unique perspective to late night. A comedian, actress, producer, and author, Lilly Singh presents A Little Late with Lilly Singh, featuring celebrity interviews, current events, musical, sketch comedy, games, and more. Lilly Singh has promised to bring more of her authentic self to this season 2 with a new showrunner and with almost entirely new writing team. She has said that she hopes to bring a little bit of her flavors, a little more imperfection. We have now Lilly Singh herself talking to her fans and supporters about A Little Late with Lilly Singh season 2 airing now.
Hey, what's going on? It's your girl Lilly Singh, and I'm so excited to be back for season 2 of my late night show, A Little Late with Lilly Singh, where we are breaking the format and ditching the desk. In season 1, when I started A Little Late with Lilly Singh, my goal was to break the format and change things up, and I did that kind of. Admittedly, I was learning so much and figuring out the world of late night. In season 2, I can confidently say we are breaking the format. I am bringing my full authentic self to late night. You're gonna see behind the scenes. You're gonna see me being so weird, so imperfect. I'm gonna embrace mistakes and just bring in all the fun. Season 2 of my show is taking place in what I like to call my fun house. You know, I think for me, what feels authentic and real is shooting in a house. It's kind of going back to my DIY style of doing things. I'm not a fancy person. I'm not a formal person. I don't really like wearing blouses. And so I think this set is the perfect set for me to bring this creative vision I have to life. And I can't wait for you to see it because you're literally gonna be a guest in my fun house. For this season of my show, there is no live audience. There is no strict, rigid setting where I sit behind a desk, and I think the result is something really special. You're gonna see a lot of behind-the-scenes footage. The crew is essentially my family and my audience. You're gonna see me having a lot of jokes and banter with my crew, and we're all just friends, so it's a lot of fun. And I think what you're gonna get to learn is what it takes to make a late-night show, especially in 2021. It's quite fascinating and a lot of hard work, and I'm excited to show you just how dope my crew is and how much work they put into making a late night show. I've always said a main ingredient in social media in the digital age is authenticity. And I'm not using authenticity as a buzzword. I'm being real, like the real being imperfect, the person who is a weirdo that doesn't always know the right thing to say. That has always been the secret sauce of me online. And I think for a moment there, I convinced myself I had to be something else. You know, I had convinced myself I had to hit a mark, speak a certain way, get rid of some of my mannerisms. And for season 2, I'm going back to my roots of, no, I think being authentic is very important, especially in the digital space. And so I think my audience online is really gonna appreciate that. They're gonna appreciate me being me and not letting traditional media or late night or any network or studio change that. And I think, I don't know, we're gonna reunite as best friends. So in season 1, I got to talk to a lot of cool guests, a lot of famouses, a lot of celebrities who I fangirled about, and it was awesome. And we're gonna have more of those people on season 2. But something I really wanna change is, I think there's so many people that are doing dope things in their communities, online. They have great initiatives that are not celebrities. They're not necessarily famous, but those are the people that are the best to have conversations with. And those are the people who deserve to be on late night. And so being in the position I'm in, I wanna bring those people into the late night world because they deserve to have a platform. So I'm gonna have a lot of great conversations with people who aren't necessarily celebrities, and I'm stoked. What I'm most looking forward to in the season ahead is the audience realizing that me and the crew are actually having a blast. You know, I want that to come through the screen. I can genuinely say thus far, every single day of shooting, I've brought my full self, I've been completely myself, and I've been proud of everything we've shot. And I think those things should not be taken for granted and should not be taken lightly. I want the audience at home to feel our energy and feel our pride and feel our fun through the screen, and I really think you will. And also, I wear outfits like this, so it's a pretty happy time. I will say this energy is so crucial, especially because interviews are remote. Right now, things are happening through virtual means, and so I'm gonna feel really, really proud if you can feel our energy through not one screen, but like 2 screens sometimes, because things are happening remote.
Well, this wraps up our show for the night. Please send us your suggestions and get your voices and organization on our show. Email us on events@itvgold.com or follow us on Facebook @itvgold. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel for free access to many of our popular shows. Thank you for joining us tonight from Queens, New York. This is Vision of Asia, and I am Aditi Lamba. Take care and be well.